provided to them in January and was signed off is what should be in the CBA and conclude the CBAs as quickly as possible.
Both the national and county governments dissociate themselves from the nurses' strike, which resumed today. Kenyans reflect on the plastic ban as the World Environment Day is marked. All right, so welcome to our bulletin tonight. These are the top stories we are following for you at this hour. And top of that is the fact that the Salaries and Remuneration Commission has rejected the collective bargaining agreement signed by the Council of Governors and the nurses. This comes as officials of the Nurses Union snubbed a meeting called this evening by the Council of Governors. And as Francis Ontomwa now reports, nurses have downed their tools.
The moment the call was made by the Kenya National Union of Nurses to begin the strike, the Coast Provincial General Hospital was affected almost immediately. Hospital administrators started to turn away new admissions as those already admitted were served with an exit notice. Patients, some in critical condition, left with reckless abandon.
Ninatibiwa kidonda cha mkono uliovunjika uwekwe chuma. Chuma tumenunua. Je, leo tuangojea tuwekwe chuma. Tunaambiwa kuna mgomo, sisi tutoke tuende zetu. Sasa tunauliza vitu tumenunua chuma, simeenda dieta tunaambiwa leo imefungwa, hakuna kazi hapo, tutoke tuende zetu. Hata watu wa chakula wanatuambia wameambiwa waende sawa, wasilete chakula tena hapa.
Nitamsaidia vipi babangu? Serikali jamani, watu waangalie, sisi ni watu hatujiwezi. Hatuna uwezo. Mamangu sasa nitamfanya nini? Nitamtoa pale nimpeleke wapi?
Inside the wards it was utter confusion. Everything seemingly way off base.
Nimelipa pesa ya teta, nimelipa pesa ya chuma, na bado sijahudumiwa mpaka sasa hivi.
A couple of hours after the strike began, at the CPGH entrance it was mass exodus. Patients stranded, most of them not sure where to seek relief.
Leo kufika saa 5 nimepata habari kwamba wote waende nyumbani. Hakuna manases ambao wanafanya kazi. Na huyu mgonjwa pia bado hajakuwa vizuri. Nitakubeba tu kama mtoto mdogo niende naye nyumbani. Pesa ambao natakana ni 30,000. Hiyo pesa saa hii amekuja briefly, sina hata ndururu saa hii.
Kuna madango hapa tulikuja naye since Friday. Ilikuwa takana afanyiwe dialysis. Kuna cervical cancer. But since then tulitoka kwa emergency, tukapelekwa kwa ward na hakuna kitu imefanyika. Madaktari wanakuja na muangalia, wanatuambia tungoje.
This lady tells me that she has a patient in the intensive care unit. All along it has been a case of racing against time to save his life. The situation has now been compounded by the nurses' stalemate. Hospital authorities have given her a 6 p.m. notice to have a patient out. It's a nightmare.
Inaelekea mahali pabaya. Kwa nini watu wasijali uhai wa binadamu? To be realistic.
She's not alone. Even as the script begins to develop, confusion from both the national and county governments seem to deepen the plot.
Once SRC makes a pronouncement on the matter, county governments will go ahead, together with national government, will go ahead and sign a CBA with the nurses union.
It's really very surprising to us to see that county governments cannot conclude CBAs. Yet we negotiated the salaries with the nurses, what was to be put there. But I understand that there are pressures to change those negotiated salaries to be higher.
The Kenya National Union of Nurses wants all its 45,000 members across the country to engage in the strike to push for the signing and implementation of the CBA. Patients may not understand the nitty-gritties. All they know, the government has let them down again, exposing them to suffering. A couple of weeks since Kenya recovered from its worst ever strike in history, the health paralysis is yet again knocking on the doors of Kenyan hospitals. And here at the Coast General Hospital, the situation is getting worse by the hour. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News at the Coast General Hospital, Mombasa.
Now, should presidential results announced at the constituency level be verified at the National Tallying Centre before the final declaration of a winner? Well, that is the question facing the appellate court tomorrow, as it hears an appeal by Kenyan electoral body IEBC challenging a High Court finding that presidential results announced by the 290 constituency returning officers are final and should not be subjected to any further verification.
In the dance to the 2017 political drums, a highly divisive debate has dominated the presidential campaigns.
Kura ikihesabika kule mashinani, uamuzi huo ndio wa mwisho. Kama mahakama itabadilisha hiyo sheria, hakuna uchaguzi Kenya. Kama wewe hutaki kwenda kwa uchaguzi, wewe kwenda nyumbani, wale wengine waendelee na mambo yao.
And on Tuesday, the spotlight turns to the judiciary as 5 appellate court judges begin hearing an appeal in which Kenyan electoral body IEBC is seeking powers to verify all presidential results from the 290 constituencies at the National Tallying Centre before making the final declaration of the winner. The IEBC appeal follows a High Court ruling on the 7th of April that constituency presidential results are final and can only be challenged by the election court, in this case, the Supreme Court.
Whatever is said out there is not going to influence the decisions of the court. The judges know their duty. They will live by their oaths of office.
In the appeal, IEBC argues that the commission chairperson is the returning officer for the purpose of a presidential election and therefore has powers to vet, audit, and to verify results from the constituencies. The opposition under the National Super Alliance has already sought to be enjoined in the appeal as an interested party, even as NASA Supremos threatened to boycott the elections should the appellate bench rule in IEBC's favor.
The judiciary was not put there to serve NASA. It was supposed to serve Kenyans. So if NASA is going to behave in a manner that everything that must go to court must go their way, I think that's foolhardy.
IEBC, instead of keeping to its narrow path, has made a determination on its part to be dictated to what to mount legal challenges over by a player in the political field.
By telling IEBC withdraw, court is trying to intimidate, blackmail IEBC.
The initial petition at the High Court had been filed by UN Special Rapporteur Maina Kiai and rights activists Helef Khalifa and Tirop Kitur. But with only 63 days to the ballot, observers predict that a subsequent appeal could find its way to the Supreme Court, whichever way the appellate court rules, given the high political interest drawn to the case. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
Let's move away from politics now into matters. Environmental plastic bags have been declared an environmental nightmare. And yet, there is hardly any Kenyan household that lacks a good stock of the plastic bags. However, it's now just a matter of time before Kenya joins the rest of the world in abolishing the use of plastic bags. And today, this issue took center stage as the World Environmental Day was marked.
Talks on plastic ban, which is expected to take effect on August 28th this year, dominated the speeches of the stakeholders in the environment sector during the celebrations of World Environment Day. Speaking during the event, Cabinet Secretary for Environment and Natural Resource, Professor Judy Wahungu, termed environmental sanity as a matter of global concern, particularly at a critical point when the globe is grappling with effects of climate change. This is not the first time that Kenya has made an attempt at banning the usage of plastic bags, as similar attempts were made in 2007 and later in 2011, with Rwanda as the only country in the region which has managed to do away with environmental pollutants. Perhaps due to the reason that a biodegradable alternative hadn't been offered.
Plastic bags were thought to be a cheap, easy solution in packaging, but the negative effects on the environment have become too expensive to bear. Plastic pollution is a global problem. Clearly, environmentally, plastic pollution is a growing disaster.
Challenges of environmental management are common across all counties. The authority will ensure that it implements relevant strategies while at the same time use relevant legislation throughout the country so as to ensure maximum environmental protection.
There is still time to harness the remarkable ingenuity that has enabled Kenya to progress at such a rapid economic rate. We can turn challenges into opportunities.
James Wakibia has been vocal in Nakuru County, raising awareness on ban on plastics. Under the tagline Ban Plastics Kenya, Wakibia has been vocal on plastic waste, and in December of 2015, he petitioned the Nakuru County Assembly to ban the use of plastics under 100 microns in the county. His push was greatly attributed to the location of Nakuru's Gyoto dump site in London Estate. To him, the announcement by CS Wahungu is an answered prayer.
There has been an issue that when we ban plastic, when Kenya bans plastic, what is going to happen to those guys who have been employed by companies manufacturing plastic bags? Should we save the environment or save those guys employed by the companies that produce plastic bags that destroy the environment? It's something to think about.
While the government is relentless on the ban, stakeholders in the industry, mainly manufacturers and industrialists whose lines of production and nature of business demand an intensive usage of the bags, seem not to welcome the move.
My ministry, through NEMA, has developed a strategy of engaging all stakeholders who may be in one way or another affected by the plastic ban.
Spiraling urban waste is a matter that continues to confront many county governments, given the fact that the urban population is expected to drastically grow in the near future. Victor Gale, KTN News, Nakuru County.
All right, so you're watching Monday Night News. This is part of our wider coverage of our election political show. That is Kivumbi 2017. Tonight, our big question, we're asking you, what is your source of water? Where do you get your water? Get it from the tap? Are you buying it? Is it from a borehole or from a river? Let me sample just a few. Waithaka Wanyoike says, what about none of the above? Okay, Waithaka, let us know where you are getting your water from. Brian Levy Okech says, I get my water from a borehole which is salty, so I have to buy fresh water. Isaiah Ongawas from Kisumu in Kisian, you say, my source of water is the tap because it's pure for drinking. Good for you. Hesbon Bimasibo, you're watching us from Ruaka. You say you get your water from a borehole. Gidhua Wakoine, you live here in Nairobi. In Bahati, you say you get it from the tap. That's from Nairobi County. Sifa Mwambire, in Malindi, you say, I get my supply from Malindi Water Company, an average of 22 hours per day. Kudos, Mawasco. Keep up the good work. Vincent Chongwo says, I get water from the tap. God knows the state of the pipes. So that's, a pretty good picture of it around the country. Malindi, here in Ruaka, in Kisumu and other areas. So we invite you to continue sending us your tweets. Where do you get your water from? Remember, our conversation continues on Kivumbi 2017. The Cabinet Secretary for Water will be joining Joe Ageo to speak about this issue where the investments have been made by the Jubilee administration. And of course, what we hope to see over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years from Jubilee or indeed from any other political outfit that wants to take over this country on the 8th of August. Keep your comments coming in. This is Monday Night News. Short break. Be right back.